There was never a storm. It started as a weather warning on a phone screen. Not ice on the steps, not wind in the trees, just a voice in a feed, doing what voices do, naming inches like inches were causes. The mind heard it as prophecy, and in the same instant, the body remembered a different winter. A bed. A mother still in form. Two human shapes trying to borrow warmth from each other, as if warmth could be manufactured by proximity. That memory did not arrive politely. It arrived preloaded. This is what no neutral thoughts looks like when it stops being a sentence on a page and becomes a live wire in the chest. The weather report was not the storm. The interpretation was. A generator appeared in the imagination like a talisman. A heater became a verdict. A grocery run became a survival drill. The mind started arranging the future as if arranging could guarantee safety. That's how fear disguises itself as prudence. It calls itself responsible. It calls itself adult. It calls itself love. Then the catch happened. A pause. A blink where the script was seen, not acted. Who is being protected? What is being protected? What is the threat, really? A body's temperature. A past that keeps trying to repeat itself. A guilt that believes it must stay vigilant to prove devotion. A love that forgot it was not responsible for form. This is where the Course gets misunderstood. It does not shout directions. It trains vision. It meets the mind where it already believes meaning lives. Over there. Over there in the sky. Over there in the grid. Over there in the bill. Over there in the memory. Over there in the other person's video. The world is a classroom only because the mind insists it is a cause. So the Holy Spirit does not begin by arguing with the classroom. It begins by teaching how to look at the classroom without giving it power. The world is left untouched. The mind is not left untouched. That is the whole technique. If the Course tried to fix over there would become real. A real enemy. A real problem. A real lever to pull. A real hope to chase. And then the teacher would be selling temporary relief inside a world the teacher just declared unreal. So the correction happens upstream, not by changing events, by changing the meaning assigned to events. Over there can keep doing whatever it seems to do, and the mind can stop treating appearances like causes. That is why it feels like genius. Nothing is disturbed. No bruises. No blood. No crime scene. No yellow tape. No aftermath crew. No, I had to learn the hard way. No hot water thrown. No hot grits. No jail cell required to become thoughtful. A man serving 226 years says the yard desensitizes the mind to death. Then says the first move on the outside will be a therapist to make sure the mind is right. It sounds wise until the delay is heard. Right mind later. Safety later. Freedom later. As if a gate makes the mind holy. As if sanity is an appointment across town. As if practice cannot begin inside the sentence. Fear always postpones.
It promises change after circumstances change. Empowerment begins in the only place it can begin, now. Not because the world cooperates, because perception can. This is why there is no shortage of content. There is only a shortage of willingness to look here. Other people's drama is easier. Other people's opinions are safer. Other people's storms are entertaining. Looking at the private flinch is terrifying because it threatens identity. That flinch is the real content. Traffic is content. The church parking lot is content. The grocery aisle is content. The sink full of dishes is content. The mirror is content. The body's worry about cold is content. Not because any of it is the cause, because all of it is where the mind can notice what it has been believing. Once that is seen, the search for new content becomes absurd. The whole day is a transcript. The whole life is a laboratory. And the lab is gentle when it is guided. That is the quiet miracle. The world is not attacked. The world is not improved. The mind is simply taught that the world was never the source. Then what remains is what was wanted all along. Peace without cost. Safety without armor. Love without vigilance. A storm that never needed to happen. A single drop does not argue with stone. It simply returns. Practice wears the groove, and the groove proves change without violence. That is the headline a serious paper could print without sensationalism. Not winter storm warning, but cause was removed. Not how to survive, but how to see.